Welcome back to Otaku no Video. As always, thank you very much for joining me where I'm in trouble because I want to talk about Gundam Wing today, new Mobile Report Gundam Wing specifically. And I adore Gundam Wing. I love it to pieces. I love it beyond all reason, quite literally. So there's not too much I can say about it because I'm just going to go into, raving fanboy mode. But what I can say is that Gundam Wing was made during those dark times for Gundam when they were experimenting with different alternate universes. This was the middle of the 3 series that they were working on, whereas G Gundam was a reversion to more of a super robot kind of a story. Gundam Wing tries to be a lot more serious, more political, more melodramatic in a lot of ways. It's a dense series, a lot of factions, a lot of political factions, a lot of characters, and a lot of characters shifting sides throughout the course of the series, and a lot of factions changing what they do throughout the course of the series. So it is somewhat difficult to follow a lot of the time. The idea is, whereas other Gundam series typically have space colonies broken off from Earth, or some of them, in Gundam Wing, the colonies are still under the thumb of the Earth government. They want to break away. So they send down 5 super powerful Gundams to Earth with 5 teen boy pilots piloting them as basically terrorists to disrupt the Earth government and force them to grant independence to the colonies. And then things go off in their own direction from there. Now, Gundam Wing was a little controversial in a couple of ways. One was the fact that all of these male pilots are pretty boys. They're Bishonen, basically. And that turned off a lot of traditional Gundam fans who were used to the more non-highly sexualized, shall we say, character designs from earlier Gundam series. And the Gundam Wing designs aren't sexualized, they're just pretty boy designs. However, this brought in a lot of female fans. And all of a sudden, this very male-dominated thing and franchise got a lot of female fans. And that was a real shot in the arm because female fans buy a lot of stuff. So that helped. It was also rather different in tone and setting. It was dark. It was serious from the get-go. There's very little comedy. And it takes itself pretty seriously. Like I said, there's a little bit of comedy here and there, particularly with Duo Maxwell, who's awesome. But in general, this is more serious. It's more like a soap opera, where there's not a lot of goofy comedy in there, back and forth. Now, the thing about Gundam Wing is you better be ready for a lot of characters and a lot of things going on. Right from the get-go, there's a lot sort of thrown at you. Now, it does this better than a lot of earlier Gundam series. Yoshiyuki Tomino, creator of Gundam, is kind of famous or infamous for dropping viewers in the middle of a situation in episode 1 and not really explaining a lot of the factions and situations. Folks just refer to what's going on, and you kind of have to infer if these organizations are good or bad or whatever. Gundam Wing does a better job than that of explaining things, and all that political stuff is explained adequately, hopefully with a narrator, actually. Gundam Wing also has a problem that partway through the series, a lot of the writers left. Now, I haven't been able to track down exact information on why they did so, but that happened, and so the writing gets a little sketchy at times. It's not bad, it's just, things bounce around a lot, and some of the things that were started up early on in the series don't quite end up the same way. And as is shown in later Gundam series, there's a lot of stuff they planned to do that they never got to. Moreover, let's just say that the characters are weird. They're awesome, but they're weird, and it's very over the top with the characters. And again, I can't get too far without getting into raving fanboy mode because I love Hiro Yui. Hiro Yui is the original, sort of typical pilot who is cut off from his emotions. This trope had existed before, particularly in Votoms actually, but it was really brought to its strongest form in Gundam Wing. This was kind of the big one that folks recognized. Sosuke Sagara from Full Metal Panic is very clearly modeled off of Hiro Yui. And then there are other characters in there that are just amazing. Speaking of which, the dub of Gundam Wing actually got some voice actors who do a credible job and have continued to do cool voice acting later on. Brad Swale and others basically got their start in Gundam Wing. So you're going to recognize some voices there. The rest of the main cast, perfectly serviceable. And then there's General Septum. I've heard some bad voice acting. General Septum is the absolute worst voice I have ever heard in any dub ever. I don't want to include a clip here because of copyright issues and I can get this video taken down. But do yourself a favor. Check out Gundam Wing just for General Septum. It's hilarious and awful. Anyway, you got that. You've also got the music, which is cheesy and awesome and over the top. You may not like that, but I don't care. It's awesome. Here's the thing. Gundam Wing has put its fingers down deep into me and into my heart, really. And that sounds cheesy, as is appropriate for Gundam Wing. But I cannot watch Gundam Wing without enjoying it. I literally cannot. I cannot be objective about Gundam Wing. I love it that much. And a lot of that is because of just how I got into it. It's not rational, and that's fine. We're not completely rational creatures, and that's an awesome thing. So this is something where I can't really say whether this is... I can't really say much of anything about it other than those facts. Excuse me. Gundam Wing just is this thing that I adore. It has certain elements to it. I don't even really know if it will work for a lot of people. I don't even know if any of it really works at all. It works for me. What can I say? I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm a raving fanboy for Gundam Wing, as you can probably tell. So that's the best I can do with a Gundam Wing review. Fantastic from my perspective, and just a really, really interesting thing. And I guess that's really the takeaway. Gundam Wing is a departure from earlier Gundam series. It's a departure from most anime. You're not going to see lots of other anime that are like this. One thing to point out, actually, though, is that Gundam Wing has a pretty low budget, especially by the standards of the time. There's a lot of reused animation, and even the regular animated bits have a minimal number of drawings in them. I've certainly seen a lot worse, but Gundam Wing can be hard to watch sometimes just because of how minimal the animation can be at times. It's probably the low point in terms of Gundam series. So beware of that. Oh, but oh, what a ride! How fun it is, and you get some characters who do some interesting. I mean, it's a soap opera, so there's a lot of monologuing, and there are some really amazing monologues in here. There's some great, thought-provoking, emotionally charged. I love to repeat those over and over again kind of speeches in Gundam Wing. It's perfect for that. If you've seen any of the old Toonami promos, most of them included a clip from Gundam Wing, just because you get characters saying, these great lines. We're from outer space, every one of us. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's me and Gundam Wing. Love it, love it, love it. So if you want to watch Gundam Wing, stop by streamsuki.com, see if it's streaming legally somewhere online. If you want to talk about cool anime like Gundam Wing, please stop by otakunovideo.net. We'll talk about this more with you. So that's it for me, and till next time, thanks for watching. Goggles?